Hello and welcome back to our Variag Hordes campaign. We are advancing upon the army of Harad that has taken up a siege position just outside one of our very lightly held settlements. We have a reinforcing general approaching from the city, which you can just see in the distance. He won't be showing up on this battlefield, however. We have it led by Lore the Hunter, and we are sending out the cav on the right flank. That looks like they'll be able to get some higher ground. But as for the infantry, we're sending them pretty much straight forward. And we've got this backed up by some very strong family members. We've got 3 of the units of Dragon Guard. And this is going to be one of the nice things once we get set up in Umbar, is even though we are lacking our higher tier cavalry and infantry, we will still benefit from those family members. So they're going to be sticking around with us. We're just about in position for all of our archers to be shooting. They're moving some swords toward us, and we know we need to watch out for them. So I'm going to run some of this cav over here. Keep them running in many different directions. What the AI tends to do is send out these infantry or sometimes cavalry forces to just push your archers away. And so that can be kind of a useful tool once they've pushed off, so you can't hit them anymore or hit their main body of their line. They tend to retreat, turn around, give you a bunch of free shots on the back. Spearman of the Serpent, so this would be a good unit to hit. And we don't need to worry about staying out of their range because they don't have any javelins, and neither do these footmen of Harad. So we can just hang out here and let the regular skirmishing take over. Although these archers of Harad are going to hit us, we're kind of in a corner over here, so we're going to have to move that cavalry unit away. All right, let's bring the infantry down there. Keep running, keep running. Just about caught us, but not quite. Alright, we can get back to skirmish now and bring these guys over. So I'm being a little... I've got to remember to be a little more careful with these 4 units of horse archers in particular. They do not have the horde symbol, and so they are not going to go away like the other, like this particular unit, and this unit and this unit. So all these other units I want to be rather careful of, and of course I say that just as I get run into by footmen without even noticing. We did okay though, so it's fine. Alright, they've got a couple units of archers. We're actually within range of some of their units. Those are swords. We can, I think, take them out pretty easily. Okay, but this unit has used up all of its... What are we doing? Has used up all of its arrows. Yeah, so they're already routing. Right, these guys may be fleeing. Looks like they are. I'm just going to try to hit their skirmishers, and we'll call it a day, I think. We're hitting them on a couple of different sides. And here we see the problem. These guys are just throwing right into melee, so we're going to take a lot of losses these Variag warriors. But we can hit them. Oh, they are protected by that Umbar guard unit, so we're going to have to come in from the side so our cav doesn't totally get killed. But we've got a couple of Variag warrior units. A Horde unit is doing quite well, of course. That one should have borne the brunt of the charge. But we are helping out with our other infantry, and yeah, this unit's already routing. Umbar guard, they won't be getting that back. I think just the presence of all these units, as well as the bodyguard, which have a fear effect, is doing a lot of damage. Okay, so this is taking longer than expected. These are just archers, but you can't necessarily assume that archers are just soft targets in 4th Age. They do tend to have a bit more robustness than in some other mods. That was a better charge, and so these guys should be routing pretty soon. And then I'd love to get those archers of Harad as well. We are taking a lot of losses here. Well, you know, any unit that we lose is going to be a unit that we're not paying for. So in that sense, but I think this was an important battle. If we hadn't fought it, we would have let Harad take this settlement. And although the settlement is not really doing us any good at the moment, it is providing a distraction for Harad. The fact that it's got a tiny garrison means that they're liable to attack it with a small army. And as long as we have some forces in the area, we can keep doing this kind of thing, where we just push them away, and they make that the focus of their attacks rather than attacking us in a city that we're developing, like Umbar. So I think that worked out pretty well. 953 survivors out of over 1,100. All right. We obviously did take some losses there. I'd love to be able to merge these units together, but you can't. Okay, so that's all fine. I think we'll pull this army away. Again, we want to have the forces in this area pretty small. Maybe we'll hit this guy if he looks like sticking around. We do have this settlement under siege. This is an all-horde unit. Let's see what that would look like if we were to just auto-calc it. Okay, not the best. I'd rather not fight this on camera necessarily. These are pretty straightforward battles. There's not too much involved. You get your guys up on the walls, you run around the walls with some archers, and you can shoot into the fortification. And that's usually how they go. So I think I'm going to wait. They've got 6 more turns, and maybe I'll fight that off camera. Only got a couple of more seasons for control posts. And so they are sending down a more substantial force. It looks like that settlement, Habad or Karasnan. Habad revolted. So now we've got rebels there. Not as much as I would like to see. See if they've got some more troops in the area. No, only 2 units. That's disappointing. So I would want this to be more... you know, more of a danger for Harad in terms of them trying to retake it. But all right, so we lost money there, and we're making 700 though this turn. We get another scout, and so what I want to do now is start sending these guys around just to see what is available, what Harad is going to be bringing towards us, and what's happening in the other parts of the map, too. I'm very curious about that. So maybe if I can get some scouts around. We do have some others. He's got to remain in Umbar City because there's an assassin right there. So I want to keep the protection in there. We've got a scout in near Harad West. Okay. Let's bring him down a little bit and move him kind of towards Harondor. Okay, not a lot different going on there. And I think that's it for our scouts. Alright, these armies look like they're moving off. Might be a good opportunity to take Karasnan with the aim of holding it. And you know what? Maybe we could bring these guys to help out, because we need horde units. And honestly, again, this fort's not going to bring us much money, so let's do that. Yep, I've besieged just a couple of turns in a row, I feel like, and changed my mind. Okay, looks like they might be going for Habad, which would be great, and we can take Karasnan. Yes. Okay, so there's a larger rebellion outside the city. That could be good. Maybe they'll have to deal with that. Okay, so I want to swap out some units. We've got 4 here that we can drop in. Let's see. We can get up to 80 men here, and so I think we could mix those together. And so I'm going to send this unit back to Umbar City. That's not a horde unit, and we would like to keep it around. This horde unit, I just don't know what to do with it. It's not going to be useful, so we may as well set it over here for now. We could combine a couple of units here, and that leaves us 3, and so I think that's going to be good. We'll set up right here, bring these units over, and place Karasnan under siege. So we've got a bunch of siege towers. This is a pretty substantial rebel garrison, but they've got some troops here that I'm not that worried about. The swords are going to be a problem. But hopefully we can get in there before Harad does anything else that's too threatening. Okay, Dale and the Reunited Kingdom are allies. And we've made our control post. So now, for the very first time, we can actually start recruiting units. And it's footmen of Harad. Okay, these are not the best by any means. They are the extreme bottom rung of the ladder in terms of recruitment. But they are something. They will allow us to garrison. They will push rams and siege towers for us. And that's kind of all you expect out of them. They do have a combat bonus in the desert, so assuming we need to fight with them, we can. But I'm interested now in advancing up the tech tree. Now, our income is dropping a little bit, and that is because as you build these military buildings, there is a upkeep cost associated with them. You'll notice here there is a land tax revenue modifier. That is minus 20 for the mustering fields. For the control posts, it is minus 14, and as we go up, it's going to get higher and higher. So eventually, our land tax, which is indicated here, is going to decrease the more buildings we build that have that upkeep. Not all buildings have upkeep. I think these buildings do, so they have a bit of upkeep there, but they also offer trade, and depending on how well built your infrastructure is, a lot of times the trade outweighs the upkeep, but it's not always a sure thing. So you have to really check the settlement details scroll to figure out what's worth building. So because we're going to be, losing about 40 on this, and gaining about 70 or so, this would be a net gain, but it's not a huge net gain, and I don't feel the need to do that rate yet. I am considering going brawling contests. That is a heftier investment and takes longer, but it does give us a pretty substantial increase in terms of our land tax at a small cost to income. But that's going to get better the higher we build it, and it's not going to flip the religion, so to speak, because Umbar City is already a Ways of Darkness place, and so this is going to be Ways of Darkness. It's just our version of the Ways of Darkness cultural conversion building. So I could go this route. That's 7 turns, but I think I also want to go up the tech tree in terms of development. I know it's going to hurt our income, but I think we need to keep doing this. We have 4 tiers of military development, and we need to get up all of them. So this is tier 2, and so let's queue that up. Anumbar will have a couple of more turns before we can build anything else. Although we can train assassins of our own, not here, but in Anumbar. So we could train a rogue. Now, our rogues are not going to be nearly as good as these guys, so I have not bothered yet. And I think we're just going to just going to wait until this guy gets bored or dies of old age or something. All right, let's go over here. I'm curious to see how far Harad has expanded. Let's see. Far Harad, are they still around? They are. They're at war with Harad. So Far Harad may have expanded up into our territory. And yes, they have. They've gone all the way up here. Adunabar did take this, but lost it, it looks like, to a rebellion, so they may be taking it back, as well as some of these settlements. Ravanian is way out here in the east. Very interesting. Adunabar is still holding out in this part of the map, but the Reunited Kingdom is going into Mordor, and so a lot of this stuff is up for grabs still. Doesn't look like Harad has moved very far into the east, and it looks like Far Harad still maintains its capital here. So that's a good sign for us. Alright, we lost a bit there because we queued up some more buildings. Alright, I could take this without a fight in theory, or without a siege if I brought my armies around. But again, our focus now is on Karas Nan. We have built currently 4 siege towers. I think that's all we're going to need. We do have a reasonable cavalry contingent. And the other thing is, I think we need to assault this because Harad is besieging Habad, and they are going to take that back pretty quickly. That's okay, I suppose. I'd love to see them fail to take this back. But if they take it back, they're going to lose men doing it. And that's ultimately good for us. They'll also spend money rebuilding all the stuff that I trashed, so that's also a net gain. Just want to make sure that we're not becoming the focus of any more attacks. But again, it looks like Harad is very interested in moving its focus up into the Harandor region. No other sieges in this area, so all is well there. Okay, so I think what we'll do in the next episode is assault Karas Nan and see how these rebels fight. I'm not too sure what they have. Let's take a quick peek here before we do that. Okay, this is showing it very much in our favor. They do have some interesting units. Corsairs of Umbar, a couple of units of those. They do have 1 unit of archers, Corsair archers. So they could put some of these guys up on the walls. 2 of these in particular would be dangerous, and the swords of Harad would be very tough to deal with. But their cav is just these plainsman-mounted skirmishers, very light, and if we catch them, we're going to be fine. We've got enough archers. I think that we should be good, and I'm pleased to see that they don't have a ton of swords of Harad. So we'll see how this assault goes. We took this once before, but we will definitely take it again, and the goal this time is to keep it. I think with this settlement and this settlement close enough together, we can defend it with a single army. That may mean that we will no longer be able to defend Athendad, but if we take this and take this, then we can maybe move up to Habad and take that as well, all while developing Umbar as fast as we can. So that's going to be the goal for the next episode, folks. Thank you so much for joining me this one, and I hope you'll check me out in the next episode. Take care until then.